Hi, I'm Rich Tejada from Keys to Fitness. I want to do a video on what you'd need if you're going to start working out on your own at home, and I have all the equipment and all the things that you'd need. So without further ado, I'll go right into it. First thing I recommend, get the best pair of shoes that you can buy. Don't buy cheap shoes like this that I bought here in Mexico. They're made in China. They're about 30 bucks. They're okay for walking around, but they're not going to be good if you're going to do any kind of impact or running or that kind of thing. These shoes are New Balance. I don't recommend that you buy a New Balance. You can buy Nike, whatever you like. These cost over $100, but these shoes are proven because I've worn New Balance for probably 30 years. So they work for me. So get the best shoes you can because you're putting all your weight on your feet all the time. So don't cheap out on your shoes. That's one of the important things. Another really important thing, get a water bottle. And this is made out of metal. It's steel. It's not aluminum. And I wouldn't use plastic. I did use plastic because it's cheaper. These are expensive, but they're safer. You don't have to get any of the bad chemicals that are in plastic. The third thing, buy a fitness watch. This one is made in China. Most of them are. It was about 40 bucks online on Amazon, and I hook it up with my phone, which I have an app, and what it does is it tracks my workouts, heart rate, approximate calories, distance, if you have your GPS turned on, on your phone. So fitness watch is super important, especially if you want to know how hard your heart is working. It's one thing when you're doing strength training with what I'm going to show you with bands and free weights, but it's important that you know how hard your heart is working. So you want to be in a cardio zone as much as you can, even if you're doing strength training. So if you do strength training, a lot of times your heart rate doesn't jack up too much unless you're using heavy weights or you're doing leg exercises. Small muscles don't push your heart rate up that much. So if you have a heart rate monitor, you can measure whether you're in a cardio zone. And so when you're doing strength training, if you throw a little bit of cardio in between your strength moves, you'll be in a cardio zone for most of your workout. And that's what I always check on to see if I'm over about 105, 110. I know I'm in a cardio zone. So get a fitness watch. You don't have to buy the ones from Apple or Fitbit, that cost hundreds of dollars. And they don't work any better than this. This is 40 bucks, and my client has an Apple, and half the time it doesn't take the proper heart rate when we're looking at it. I know she's around 110 and it shows 90. So they're no better than these $30, $40 watches that you can pick up on Amazon. Okay? So that's the third thing. Fourth thing, get a pair of gloves. If you're going to work out with bands, and or if you're in a gym, you're not touching the metal surfaces which may not have been wiped down in a gym, or, if you're working out with bands, they're a little bit rough on your hands sometimes, some of the bands, if they don't have handles. So get a pair of gloves. They're about 10 bucks, okay? So the other things that I want to show you are the things that I use in my training, and mostly it's bands. I use free weights, but free weights are more expensive. So this is 2.5 pounds. And if you want to buy this, it's going to cost you about maybe $2.50 a pound if you get the good ones. So, or let's say a 5-pound weight is going to cost you about $12 to $13. Okay? So I don't think it's good value unless you want to invest, because I bought a 20-pound weight and it was $50. So it can really add up when you're buying a lot of free weights. My favorite bands are from Canada. These are with handles. You cannot get them on Amazon. I've looked all over. They had them in Texas at one point, but I don't see them anymore online. So these you can only get in Canada at Fitness Depot, and they're called Northern Lights. They're made in Eastern Ontario, and they are the best bands with handles I have found anywhere. I've had clients buy them on Amazon, and they're just really crappy. They are covered. You want to buy covered bands. You don't want to buy bands with that have the latex exposed. So if the latex busts, this is covered and it won't snap and hit you in the face. I've had other bands without the covers in years past, and one busted, and it didn't happen when I was training. My client had it, and it busted and hit him in the tummy, and it really hurt. So buy covered bands. If you're in Canada, then buy these. They're not super expensive, and they'll last 3 years, 4 years, depending upon how you look after them. My favorite bands without handles are these soft bands, and unfortunately this particular brand you cannot get. I've tried and tried, and these were the best. They're easy on the hands. You don't even really need gloves for these, but they work. So you have to go and, I've experimented and bought different kinds, and these are okay, but I bought 5 of these, and 3 of them almost have the same tension. So I don't know why that happened. So this one from this company in China, they were great, but they're not producing them now. What you'll find a lot of are these latex ones, and these were the ones that were first popularized when people were doing band training. They are okay, but the problem with them is they're going to dry out, they're going to have dry rot, and they're going to bust. And down here in Mexico, we have a lot of dry climate for 6 months, and now we're in the rainy season. In 2 years, you have to really watch and see if there's dryness, because if these snap on you, it's going to hurt. They're normally about 5 of these would cost you anywhere from $35 to up to maybe $70. The average is probably $45 for 5 of them, and they come with different tensions, so they're good. One that I'm using now, they're okay. There are 5 of these. These are called Gymletics, and you get 5 of these, and they're all different tensions, so it's very good. The thing is, they're not as soft as this band, but they're working. I've had them for about 3 months. They work pretty well. $50 US for 5 of them. So you get a gym in your hand. You can take this anywhere in the park or whatever for $50 US, so about 60 Canadian, something like that. So those are good. Now, if you're working out at home, I would recommend you get a door anchor. They run anywhere from about $8 to $12. And what you'll do is you'll be hanging these over the door this way. Make sure the door doesn't open out on you, because then you're going down on the floor. So you want to make sure that it's a door that's facing away from you, that opens away from you. You slip this over the door, and you can put your bands through this like that. So you've got your gym. If you're in an apartment or whatever, you've got this. This door anchor is really fantastic. There's all different kinds you can get. You'll find them on Amazon. There's not a problem. Now, a couple of other things I'd like to recommend. If you have a setup like I do here, I have bars over my windows, which is common in a lot of houses in Mexico. And so what I have set up is I use these carabiners, and I put it over these contraptions, which are used for hammocks and, swing sets. Some of them are heavier than this for a swing set, but I use this, and I'll put this through it, and then I put my bands through it. And the reason being, when you're tying your band up like that, it's pulling against itself. It can start to fray when you're tying it up like this. So I've discovered that using the bands through the carabiner is a much more effective, and it'll allow the bands to last a lot longer. They're not going to get all twisted up, and eventually they're going to break. Because you're using that twist method to tie them to places. So getting one of these These I found in China. They were quite cheap. I think they were about, I don't know, $2-3 a piece, maybe less. And this I found in the hardware stores here for, they were around $3 to $4 Canadian, so $2.50 US. So they're a great buy. Now, one thing, if you're worried about you don't have a situation like this to hang your equipment up, because this was just ideal. So my gym is, this is my gym, and I have other equipment around the corner and my rowing machine. What you could do, and an architect friend of mine back in Toronto, he designed a little gym for me on a small porch, 6 by 8 feet. So if you could make believe that this poster is a long board, okay, and it's wood, make it out of wood, and have it like a, you know, a 2x4, or, you know, something that's quite thick that you can put up against the wall, that you can secure and screw the wood. You want it longer than this, and screw the wood into the wall. Then you buy these contraptions, these little hooks, and they have 4 holes. So you put one there, one here, and you screw that whole contraption up against the wall. These cost about, in Canada they were at Home Depot for around $6. Not super cheap, but listen, you want the ones with the 4 screw holes, because if you only have 2, you know, and you're pulling, and you're 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 200 pounds, 250, you're pulling a lot of weight. So you want to have as many screws as you can, deep, long screws, and that's why you want thick wood. And you put those in there like that, screw this up against the wall, whatever way you want, and you've got your security for your bands. So these are really important things if you want to set up a gym at home. The other thing that, for your enjoyment, when you're first working out, you might be sore the first week or 2 weeks, put some music on your phone, get a little speaker, and normally they're Bluetooth now, but some of the ones still have connectors in the back, so you can do it wired, and get your best music, and play your music while you're working out. So make it as pleasurable as you can. Those are just a few of the tips if you're going to get started on your fitness journey. Good luck to you, and I hope this has been informative. Take care and have a nice day.